Ever wonder why our world looks the way it does? Is it all just a series of happy accidents and random events? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea that human history might actually be following a hidden blueprint.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Do you think the story of humanity is just one chaotic mess? A random string of wars, lucky breaks, and chance discoveries? Or could there be a deeper, more predictable pattern hiding just under the surface of it all?
All right, let's start the search. We are diving deep into a theory that totally challenges the idea of random progress. It suggests that our past, and maybe even our future, is a whole lot more predictable than you'd think. I mean, what if, and this is a big what if the development of everything, from the very first stone tool all the way to the smartphone in your pocket, wasn't about luck or some lone genius? What if it was all an inevitable unfolding, a path that was laid out for us, not by us, but by the fundamental laws of physics and chemistry? Well, there's actually a name for this whole idea. It's called the theory of lines of development, and it's basically an attempt to map out that hidden blueprint of history. At its heart, the theory is actually pretty simple. You can't get to discovery C until you've figured out A and B. You see, history is built layer by layer, and you just can't skip the steps. Every single invention stands on the shoulders of all the discoveries that came before it. A fantastic way to picture this is to think of all human knowledge as this giant, sprawling tree. New ideas are like branches, and they can only sprout from the ones that are already there. You can't just magically teleport to the top. You've got to climb your way up from the trunk, branch by branch. Let's take the personal computer for an example. I mean, think about it. It's sitting at the end of this incredibly long line of development. You can trace its family tree all the way back through things like the keyboard and the printing press, to mastering electricity, and even further back to fundamental discoveries like writing and fire. Every single one of those steps was absolutely essential, and the sequence was totally non-negotiable. So where's the evidence for this, right? Well, a fantastic place to start is with the actual materials that built our world. It turns out our long journey from using stone to making steel wasn't really a choice, it was a necessity. Just look at this timeline. We didn't just wake up one day and decide to skip to the Iron Age. We couldn't. We had to start with stone because it was just lying around everywhere. Then we figured out copper, which needed controlled heat. After that came bronze, which required even higher temperatures and the clever idea of mixing metals. It was only then, after literally thousands of years of innovation, that we could finally build furnaces hot enough to work with iron. And this right here, this shows us exactly why that sequence was basically locked in. This wasn't about what we wanted to do, it was about basic chemistry and physics. Iron just has a way, way higher melting point than copper. It's like nature set the difficulty level, and humanity had to level up its tech, step by step, just to unlock the next material in the game.
And this quote just nails it perfectly. Think about it. If some magical metal existed that was as good as iron, but melted at a low temperature, we would have skipped right to it. There'd be no Copper Age, no Bronze Age. The fact that a Bronze Age even exists is proof that our path was basically dictated by the laws of chemistry. Okay, let's move on to the next piece of evidence. And this one is kind of strange and, to be honest, fascinating. It's all about those big eureka moments, which, it turns out, were happening to a bunch of different people in different places, all at the same time.
The term for this weird phenomenon is multiples. And this isn't just a coincidence. It's a real historical pattern where major breakthroughs are made by several people all working independently at roughly the same time. It's almost like an idea's time has simply arrived.
And this isn't some rare fluke either. We all know about Darwin, right? Well, a guy named Alfred Russel Wallace came up with the exact same theory of evolution at the same time. Newton and Leibniz both invented calculus totally independently, and Alexander Graham Bell famously beat Elisha Gray to the telephone patent office by just a few hours. The list, it's just staggering. So this isn't just a fun historical tidbit. The sociologist Robert Merton actually called this the dominant pattern of scientific discovery, and the lines of development theory explains why. Once all the foundational knowledge is in place, once we've climbed up to a certain branch on that tree of knowledge, the next discovery is just right there, waiting. It becomes almost inevitable that somebody is going to find it. So, we've seen how the laws of physics seem to shape our technology, and how huge discoveries seem almost destined to happen. What does this all add up to? What's the big takeaway here? Well, the two big pieces of evidence we've looked at, that fixed sequence of materials and this wild phenomenon of simultaneous invention, they both point in the exact same direction.
They suggest that human progress isn't just a random walk in the dark. It's more like a journey along a path that is heavily constrained, and maybe even guided, by the fundamental structure of the universe itself.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this one powerful idea. What could happen is controlled by the structure of nature and the laws of the natural sciences. Our options have always been limited by the physics and chemistry the universe allows. We can only play with the cards we've been dealt.
So, this leaves us with a truly profound thought to chew on. If our history really does follow a kind of blueprint, how much of our story is truly our own? Are we the ones writing our destiny, or are we just discovering a story that's already been written by the laws of nature? And maybe even more exciting, what does this theory suggest might be the next inevitable discovery waiting for us just around the corner?